Welcome, I'm Kinetic Symphony. This is Dave. I hunt down and report on weird and true mysterious stories, from glitches to the supernatural. Case file number 1898, written by leftofmarx, Lunar Light and the Moonwalking Night. Okay, so this was a while back, but I was riding home from my dad's house back to my mom around 10 p.m. around the end of winter break from school. It was a clear, cold night, no clouds. I was looking at stars and constellations from the passenger side window. It was super dark outside. My dad lives deep in the country, near farmland, without many other houses around, and very rarely even a streetlight or similar tall light. It was a full moon, or very near to it. Could have just about gotten there, or just past, but basically a full moon. A person, looked like a shadow, like the bike seen in E.T., walked across the moon. Just looked like a guy. I say guy because no outline of long hair or anything. Basically looked like an average built dude casually walking. But the shadow took up basically the whole moon. Sort of like if someone points a flashlight at the wall and you walk in front of it. That's basically what it looked like. The whole event took maybe 3 seconds. I have never gotten the image out of my head. I was totally freaked out about the man on the moon, and have been ever since. Case file 1898, Lunar Light and the Moonwalking Night. There are instances of the moon almost behaving like a projection from Earth up onto the tapestry of the sky. Now, I don't believe that is actually the case, but there are instances pointing to that, like ripples in the moon, like it's a projection, like it's already there. Or in this case, like a person walking in front of it. Like you say, it's like someone casted a shadow because they walked in front of the projection of the moon. Now, is that the case? Is the moon really a projection? I don't think so, but I'm not sure how you would explain this. I mean, it doesn't sound like it could be the shape of a plane. It wouldn't be large enough. A plane wouldn't obstruct the entire view of the moon. Maybe some sort of lunar eclipse, but that wouldn't look like the shape of a man. Maybe an asteroid that's large enough? I don't know. Nothing really fits, but it's just very strange. Case file number 1899, written by Ulster 5000, From Pink to Blue, A Stranger's View. On my walk today, there's a bit which is a wide straight path, with no ways to get off the path for about 300 meters. On one side, thick bushes. On the other, tall fences on the edge of AstroTurf football pitches. I'm walking one way and the other person on the path is a woman in the opposite direction. She's wearing light pink, baggy trousers and a black top, blonde hair and glasses. Kinda like that 90s early millennial vibe that a lot of UK teens are wearing lately. I look down to my phone because I got a message. Realize it's not something I need to respond to, and look back up. The gap between us has closed a few meters, but now the woman is wearing baggy blue jeans, a white t-shirt, and she's got green hair, nose piercing, no glasses. I look at her really confused, and she sort of just stares at me as she walks past. There's nowhere the first woman could have turned off the path, and given the speed we were both walking, the second woman was in the right spot. From the time I looked down and up from my phone, like a few seconds. My initial reaction was that it was really weird. But now I've had a couple hours to think about it, and I'm thinking it's way beyond just weird. Case file 1899, From Pink to Blue, A Stranger's View. So one or the other way, this was multiverse side. Either in the initial moment you were seeing someone ahead of you that was in a different universe, or in that moment you were seeing someone that was really there, and then after the fact, you saw someone that was in a different universe. Still running concurrent, it just happened to be that two people were in the same location, walking roughly in the same speed and vector. Which is a coincidence in a sense, a glitch and a coincidence, but nothing too crazy as far as glitches go. But as always, it would be weird as hell to experience. Case file number 1900, written by CPLMuffin. Ominous Vibes and Candle Jibes. I've moved around a lot, and I've had many similar but smaller experiences in many different houses. To the point where I can walk into a place and get a vibe that just doesn't check out. Kinda like a weird little back of the brain gut feeling that you just push off as brain games. But out of all of it, this was the worst. I lived in a house with a few roommates that all believed the place was haunted. There was a good bit of activity, but none of it was particularly scary. It was enough that you couldn't doubt that something was there, but didn't really feel threatening at first, just kinda spooky. I had the basement room, and would always hear clear footsteps above me when no one else was home. The front door would open and close, and it would sound like one of the boys was coming home for the night. I'd walk upstairs to say hello, and no one was there. The house had a very long driveway with a horse gate at the end that we had to manually open and close to keep the dogs in. There were many nights that I would come home and the gate would be open. I'd pull my truck up past the gate and hop out to close it, only to see that it was already closed. I would just laugh a little and jokingly yell out a thank you. Things started getting a lot worse when one of my roommates had his high school age sister stay for a few weeks as the parents were out of town. We let her throw a little party with her friends, and next thing you know, they're playing around with a Ouija board, and the damn thing kept saying my name as I was on my way to the kitchen. I've known this girl since I was 2 feet tall, pretty much my little sister, so I just thought she was playing some sort of joke. So I was like, whatever, frick off. But within the month and a half after that, I started hearing and seeing things that made me begin to believe that I was schizophrenic, seriously questioning my sanity. I became antisocial and fell into a huge depression that affected my job, my relationship, and my friendships. Until one night, I had my girlfriend at the time over for a movie. I got up to use the restroom for like 30 seconds, heard a commotion, and came back to her curled up on my bed, crying her eyes out, and trying to hold my barking dog who was more pissed than I'd ever seen and was just all over the place. She demanded that we both immediately leave the house and refused to step into the building ever again. It was a long time before I got an explanation from her. She would get incredibly upset every time I tried to talk about it. It became one of those things you just don't bring up. She eventually told me that she had heard a loud, nasty, guttural sound, thinking something was wrong with my dog. She sat up to check on him, and one of the candles that I had kept on my TV stand flew at her. I moved into my own place a week later, as I had already been planning to. And the last time I left that property literally felt like leaving a war zone. It was as if all my sanity returned within weeks. My motivation and energy returned, and I haven't had a single experience like that ever since. But I no longer keep any candles anywhere in my house anymore. A year or so later, after hanging with my past roommates, trading stories and discussing all of our experiences with that house, I did a little research and found out that not only the house, but that entire area is known as a hotspot for these kinds of things. Do you like Stephen King? If so, you might be interested in joining me on my reading and reaction of Stephen King's Carrie over on Patreon. Check it out. And now to the notes. Caissons Foul 1900. Ominous vibes and candle jibes. Yeah, the vibe intuition. Always trust it. Even if you're not accustomed to trusting it, trust me, trust it. Your gut knows more than your conscious mind, almost always. Now, in this case, I think it was a spirit that wasn't malicious, but given how you explain things, I think it was a spirit of a girl that was jealous. You brought girls over, and the spirit kept mentioning your name. It was thinking about you, jealousy seeping in. And then when you had your actual girlfriend around, she threw a candle at her. This was a jealous spirit. You might have had the first crush from a spirit that I've ever read. And I'm not sure what to make of that. I don't know what the rules are governing spirit-human relationships, but I'm guessing there would need entirely new case law to govern that. Oh my. Now time for the joke of the day. My wife left me because I'm insecure. No, wait, she's back. She just left to get coffee. It's very insecure indeed. Gotta toughen up a bit. Like the video, subscribe, hit the bell. Kinetic Symphony signing off.